basically you have this. When you're multiplying or dividing, okay? So, when multiplying or dividing integers, the rules are as follows. Okay? -4 times -8 would equal positive 32. Okay? So a negative times a negative equals a positive. Okay? -4 times 8 is equal to -32. So a negative times a positive equals a negative. Same would be true if I had 4 times -8. It's still -32. Doesn't matter where the positive or negative is. Doesn't matter the negatives with the larger number or the smaller number. Okay? So, basically then, if there is one negative sign and you are multiplying or dividing, the answer will be negative every time. Okay, if there's one negative sign and you're multiplying or dividing, the answer will be negative every time. Doesn't matter. One negative equals a negative. Okay? If there is two negative signs, and you are multiplying or dividing, the answer will be positive every time. Okay? Now that rule is in direct contrast with the adding and subtracting rule. Okay, and this is where people end up getting confused. Okay, let's say that I have -4 plus -8. Okay, that's -12. Okay, but we just said -4 times -8 would be positive 32. Okay, so there's the difference. You have to keep the rules straight. Okay, that is where most of the confusion comes in most of the time. Okay, now the same is true with division. You're going to have division problems that look two different ways. Let's see if they give you any of those. Okay, so if I have 63 divided by -9. Okay, how many negative signs do I have? 1. That means it's going to be negative or positive answer. Negative. 9 goes into 63 how many times? It's running slow the last couple of days. I don't really know why. Okay, so that means if I have this, how many negative signs do I have? 2. So that's positive 7. if I had this, that's negative 7 as well. Okay, so that's the rules. As I stated, not real hard. You just have to memorize them. Okay? Here, unlike yesterday where we're changing subtraction to addition, or we're doing, you don't do any of that here. Okay? Please remember that this right here, you won't have any today. That's a division problem. That says 4 into 48. 4 goes into 48 how many times? 12 times. How many negative signs do I have? 1. So negative 12. You won't have any listed vertically like that today. You will later on this year in this class, and then next year in 7th grade. That's pretty much how they always list them. Okay, but the same exact problem. This problem is the same as that problem. Okay, those are exact same problems. Any questions? Staley? Yeah, it's just regular. Yeah, if it's 63 divided by 9, and they put their little positive signs, and then that's just positive 7. So realistically, if you want to think of it this way, the only way that you can come up with a negative when you're multiplying or dividing is to have one negative sign. 2 positives is positives. 2 negatives is positive. So the only way to come up with a negative answer is to have only one negative sign. Okay? If they did something like this, negative 3 times 4 times negative 6 times negative 2. We'll just take it 2 at a time. Those 2 together give me negative 12 times negative 6 times negative 2. Well, negative 12 times negative 6 would be positive 72 times negative 2. Okay, well, 72 times negative 2, 144, I have one negative sign, so it's negative 144. Okay. Any questions, Brandon? You're looking at days today. Trying to get caught up on your sleep. Messed up your sleep schedule, didn't we? All right, as I said, we weren't going to spend a lot of time on it, so that's going to give you about, almost 30 minutes left in class. Let me write down the homework assignment. You can get started on it, and hopefully you'll get most of it done in class. All right, we're doing, like I said, there's 2 different lessons here, so 11.7, 9 through 26, and then 11.8, 11 through 32. Okay, I'm going to allow you to break up into groups of no more than 3. Okay, you can break if you want to. If you want to do it by yourself, that's fine as well. If you have questions, raise your hand and I'll come help. Okay, so I'll let you break up into groups of 3, no more than 3. You can do 2, but let's go ahead and get started. You got about 25 minutes left in class.